Hey there. There's this incredible, high stakes drama that unfolds inside your body every single day. It's a rapid response mission to protect you from harm. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most amazing processes you've got your blood's emergency response system. Let's dive in and see how it all works. Think about it. It seems like nothing, right? A tiny little sting, maybe a single drop of blood. But that tiny little break in your skin triggers this absolutely astonishingly complex and perfectly timed chain of events to seal the gap and keep you safe. We're going to follow that whole process from start to finish. So to get what's happening, we first got to meet the players. Your blood isn't just, well, red liquid. It's this super complex tissue. A little over half of it is this yellowish fluid called plasma. That's mostly water, but it's also the taxi for proteins and hormones. The other 45%, that's what we call the formed elements. That includes your red and white blood cells and, the heroes of our story today, the platelets. Okay, so when a blood vessel gets damaged, your body doesn't waste a second. It kicks into this perfect three-step action plan called hemostasis. You can think of it like an internal 911 call, except the emergency services are already on site and ready to roll. And here's that game plan. It happens in three distinct stages. First, the blood vessel itself literally clamps down. That's the vascular spasm. Second, these tiny things called platelets rush to the scene to form a temporary plug. And third, a much stronger, more permanent patch gets woven together in a process called coagulation. Let's break each one down. All right, step one. The very second that blood vessel gets damaged, bam, the smooth muscle inside its wall contracts instantly. This clamping down, or vasoconstriction, is huge because it immediately slows down blood flow to the area. It's kind of like your body putting pressure on the wound from the inside, and it buys precious time, up to 30 minutes, for the next steps to get going. Now for step two, we need our little heroes, the platelets. And believe me, your body is prepared. Get this, in a single cubic millimeter of your blood, we're talking a space about the size of a pinhead, there's an average of 250,000 of these tiny guys, just floating around, waiting for the signal. And this is their moment. When a vessel breaks, collagen fibers that are normally hidden inside the vessel wall get exposed. That's the signal. Platelets floating by suddenly become super sticky and start grabbing onto that collagen and each other. And what's really cool is this positive feedback loop. As the platelets gather, they release chemicals that basically shout, "Hey, everyone, get over here!" More platelets come, and they quickly build up a temporary seal we call a platelet plug. That platelet plug is a great quick fix, but it's not going to hold forever, especially if the injury is bigger. We need to bring in the heavy machinery. And that brings us to step three, coagulation. This is where the body builds a really strong, durable patch. The key to this whole construction project is a team of about a dozen proteins in your plasma called clotting factors. Most of them are made in your liver. They're just circulating around in an off position, but once an injury triggers the first one, it sets off a chain reaction. It activates the next, which activates the next, in this perfectly controlled domino effect called the coagulation cascade. And what's the whole point of that domino cascade? Well, the grand finale is converting a protein called fibrinogen into this incredible stuff called fibrin. And fibrin is basically molecular glue. Its long, sticky strands weave a mesh all through the platelet plug, trapping more red blood cells and platelets and turning that temporary plug into a really tough, stable clot that seals the deal. But here's what's really elegant. A clot isn't supposed to be permanent. Once the vessel wall underneath has had time to heal, another process, called fibrinolysis, kicks in. It's the cleanup crew. An enzyme goes to work, basically digesting the fibrin strands and dissolving the clot so that your blood can flow normally again. Pretty smart, right? Now, this system is incredibly precise. But because it's so complex and so finely tuned, well, sometimes things can go a little haywire. The system can either go into overdrive, making clots when you don't need them, or it can fail to show up, not making them when you desperately do. When clotting goes wrong, it's really important to know the difference between two dangerous situations. A thrombus, that's a clot that forms inside a healthy vessel and just stays put, like a roadblock. But if a piece of that clot breaks off and starts traveling through your bloodstream, it's called an embolus. And that's really dangerous because it can get stuck somewhere critical, like your lungs, heart, or brain. On the flip side, you have clotting failures. You've probably heard of hemophilia. That's a genetic disorder where the body just can't make one of the key clotting factors, so that domino cascade gets broken. Thrombocytopenia is different. that's when you just don't have enough platelets, so you can't build that first temporary plug very well. This whole thing really highlights just how vital our blood is. And in cases of severe injury, a blood transfusion can be a lifesaver. But here's the catch. You can't just use anyone's blood. Every single person has a specific ID card for their blood, and if you get the wrong one, it can be fatal. So let's take a quick look at that ID. So this whole ID system boils down to two key things: antigens and antibodies. The easiest way to think about it is this. Antigens are like little name tags that are stuck to the surface of your red blood cells. Antibodies are the security guards, or the bouncers, floating around in your plasma, and their entire job is to check for foreign name tags and attack them. So here's how the main ABO system works. If you have type A blood, you've got A name tags, and your security guards are looking for B name tags. If you've got type B blood, it's the total opposite, B tags, with security looking for A. Now, type AB is interesting. It has both A and B name tags, so it doesn't have any security guards at all. And type O, it has no name tags, so its security guards are on high alert for both A and B. And that right there explains why type O blood is so critical in an emergency. Because its red blood cells have no A or B name tags on them, they can sneak past any security system. The recipient's antibodies have nothing to latch onto, nothing to attack. This makes type O the universal donor. And type AB is the perfect mirror image. People with type AB blood are called the universal recipient because they have no security guards, no anti-A or anti-B antibodies floating in their plasma. So they can safely receive red blood cells from any other ABO group. The doors are open to everyone. And the very last piece of your blood's ID card is something called the RH factor. It's just one more type of name tag or antigen. It's really simple. If you have it, you're Rh positive. If you don't have it, you're Rh negative. That's the little plus or minus sign you see next to your blood type, like A positive or O negative. So just think about all this. From a tiny paper cut to a major emergency, your body runs this incredibly complex, life-saving program completely on autopilot. It's a constant, microscopic ballet happening inside you at all times. Which kind of leaves you with one big thought. What other amazing miracles are happening inside you right this second that you don't even know about?